Hi everybody, welcome to our event. We are here with our friends at 3113 Quilting and Sewing. We've got myself, Kathy, and
I'm Jana.
Jana from Grace Company, and then we've also got Geraldine and Becky from 3113. Say hi guys.
I think they're muted right now. There we go. Did they get stuck? I think they're frozen. We'll come back to them in just a moment, but we just want to welcome everybody. So glad you're here.
Yes. So glad to be here with this event talking about one of our newest and favorite items, our Little Rebel and our Cutie Breeze.
I'm so excited to talk about these.
Me too.
Some of my favorite things. We also want to see where everybody's watching from. So put in the comments where we're watching, even if you're at their store at 3113 watching live, or if you're at your home, wherever you are, on YouTube, on Facebook, just let us know so we can say hi to you and welcome you. But we just recently had a huge fall cold front move in, right? It was it hit a 4 when I was leaving today this morning. I was like, whew, that's a little chilly.
Yeah.
We got snow on the mountains yesterday.
First snow on the mountains, so it's just starting.
Welcome, Gloria.
She's watching from Kentucky. We're here in Utah, so once this cold starts, it'll be here for a day or two, and then tomorrow we'll have summer again.
Exactly that. Those end days of summer. So welcome, Faith from Spring, Texas. So glad to have you with us.
Yes.
I know my friends and I always have a bet for a milkshake on the first day of snow in the valley that stays more than just, snows and then melts right away. So we're getting those dates in now. That hits the mountains. We know it's going to hit the valley soon. And
yes, at least by the end of October, maybe a little sooner. We'll kind of play it and see how it's going to go.
Yeah.
All right.
So with 3113, well, they're going to get back on with us, but at the bottom of your screen the whole time, you'll see how to get a hold of them. Their physical location, their phone number, their website. And they also have an email and financing available.
Yes, financing available. They're excited that they can offer that to you guys. So if you are watching us and you see something that you want to get and you just aren't quite ready with the funds, ask them about financing. They could definitely help you out with that.
Yeah. So it looks like Becky's rebooting her computer. So we're just going to keep going with our stuff. And then when they join us, we'll be able to have
say
them
hi.
come in.
Yeah. So we're going to be talking today about the Little Rebel and the Cutie Breeze. And both of these are about a year old in our lineup. People have really responded well. They really love it. And we're excited that it's part of our lineup. Not everyone wants a great big huge machine and frame. Not everyone has that space in their home.
True.
I mean, some of us have little corners that we can use, others have whole rooms, but those with little corners, this is a perfect setup for them.
And we've talked to some people who even have the giant big setups, right? But they want to go to the cabin. They want to go on vacation. They want to fifth wheel or whatever it is, motorhoming. You can take the Little Rebel and the Cutie with you as long as you have a power source. You can quilt on the go with you. We even talked to someone who's she's a long haul trucker with her husband, and so whenever they stop, she pulls out her Cutie and her machine,
plugs in, and there she goes.
Yeah, and she takes orders from the other truckers and quilts for them. So it's a very versatile product, both of the Little Rebel and the Cutie. So where are we gonna get started? We started on the Cutie.
I think we're gonna start with the Little Rebel today because we're going to show it a couple of different ways, and we'll show it on a frame, off a frame. That is the beauty of the Little Rebel.
Yeah. So in that shot just now, if you go back to that, you can see it's got that wonderful 18 by 24 table. So this is automatically comes with it. You can see all the measurements right here that go straight up into the needle plate. So that's a lot easier to see that way than once you put the fabric down, you can't see it. But if you're sewing, which is what we're going to show right here, sewing and piecing, you can line up your 5/8, your 1/4 inch, your inch, so that you have those measurements all set.
Jana, this is the question I get a lot at shows. Wait, these are the same machines?
These are the same machine.
Yes, so this machine is fantastic. It can do your sewing, has a straight sewing stitch.
Presser
so you
foot,
can
yeah.
do all of your piecework on the Little Rebel, and then you can come over and put it on the frame over here, and you can quilt. It's the same machine.
It's the same, and we're going to show them both together different ways. So let's start sewing. So I'm going to sit down right here and show how to sew. Now, we've got our presser foot here. Foot pedal. So we're going to pop up a picture of what the foot pedal looks like. You can see it, it's got that lovely textured on there, easy, and you can see that cord sticking out is kind of small because it's wound up, but you can see how long.
It's nice and long.
Nice and long so that you can put it around wherever you're reaching. I'm going to put this back on the ground.
And I love how big the foot pedal is. I mean, I've been sewing since I was a kid, and some of the sewing machines I learned on, the foot pedals were about this big. So if you just misjudged a little, you missed the whole foot pedal.
And it has some lovely grippers on the bottom, so it's not going to slide out and then you're stuck. So if we're coming here to the machine, we're going to look at some different pieces. You can see there's a lot of different pictures, and buttons and different things. So first we're going to talk about how we thread. Wonderful pad printing with numbers all the way. So it starts up here 1 and 2, and then it comes 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, all the way down into the needle. Now we have a zoomed in shot of what that pad printing looks like, so you can see that a little bit better. Also in that picture you can see that those 3 buttons right underneath the tensioner knob. The first one is your needle up and needle down. And I don't know about you, Kathy, but this is one of my favorite. You can hold down that needle up, needle down, and then it will stay that way whenever you've stopped sewing. So if you're wanting to have it be down, it can, or up.
Yeah.
So I really love that.
Yeah, and which is really nice when you're doing your piecework. So sometimes you have to make a stop, grab another piece. You want your needle down where you left it. Sometimes you need to make put a new piece in. You leave it up, pull it out. So it's really nice that you have that option.
Yeah, then the next button is our reverse button. So anybody that's done sewing knows reverse. You don't use it as much in quilting sometimes, but it's available. And then I like that you cannot use the foot pedal and just use the start and stop button.
Yes.
So that's just right here. Now when I press this, it's going to give me a little button error, and it's and just go da-da like that. And it's because my foot pedal is plugged in. So you can't use both at the same time. It's just what you're
one or the other, whichever you are most comfortable with. Yeah.
Now one of the features of the Little Rebel is it has right down here at the front is our optical encoder. So when you're quilting, there's a great picture of that. That optical encoder shows right there in the front, and your fabric has to go over. So you can do push quilting, free motion through the machine. And again, it has this great throat space, right, and harp space. So 13 inches from the needle to the back of the machine, and then 8.5 inches here in the harp.
That's a lot of quilts you can put through there. I mean, king size, no problem.
So whichever thing you're quilting, you're gonna have plenty of space to quilt. Recently, we were doing a charity event here a couple of Saturdays ago, and then we were working on quilting, and we realized when we were sewing, we wanted to flip it the way that we were piecing on the sides. And at first I was like, oh no, I have to turn it this way, but I won't be able to do it, so maybe I'll have to go from the bottom up. And then I realized, oh wait, I have all this throat space. I don't have to worry about going
just make the turn.
Direction. Yeah. Okay, so let's talk about the other buttons up here on the screen.
Okay.
Now there are 5 buttons or 5 lights up here at the top, but that means that there are 10 steps.
Right.
So
each button controls 2 levels of stitches.
So this first section is how long the stitches are. So right now I have it to the very smallest. I want to come to the largest. I just come down like that, and you can see those lights coming in and out. And so there's my lowest spot, or
biggest stitch,
but lowest section. So I'm going to come up here to be about halfway. And then these buttons up here are our speed control. Now if I set it just right there, the 2 steps up, again 3 lights, but 6 steps. No matter how hard I press down my foot pedal, it's going to only go that speed.
Right.
So that's really nice. Now, if you're using this start and stop button over here, it will just go the speed that it's set for. So I'm gonna go about halfway. Now, Kathy, do you know how many stitches per minute this has?
So many. It has 1,600 stitches per minute. So
1,600.
fast.
I love, so recently our engineering team has been testing it with a lot of different fabrics, and we have a picture so you can see those fabrics. So denim is one, canvas, leather, can you believe it? We have someone who sews leather motorcycle seat covers. And he's been using this little Rebel because it's so strong and powerful that it can go through each of those. Now, that doesn't mean that it's strong and powerful at the lowest speed.
Right.
You have to not be afraid of giving it the gas when you're going along with the pedal.
Yeah, giving it the pressure that it needs to get through the thick layers.
Thick parts, yeah. And so the thicker it is, the more fast you want to go, because that's when the motor's going the fastest. So, so going over our buttons again, we have a picture of all the buttons and what they are going to do. So that kind of gives you a visual of all the different buttons. So there's the zoom in of just those particular buttons. And then we have one with all the buttons with little, there we go.
Yes.
Different sections. So you can see, right? 8 is all the LED indicators. 5, 6, and 7 are the buttons for the different modes. And then 4, 3, 2 are those start, stop, reverse, and needle up, needle down. And then 1 is that fabric sensor or optical encoder. So we got all those available for you to check and work on. And now the only one we didn't talk about was Q.
Yes.
That's number 5.
Yes. So the Q is when you are in quilting mode. So when you have your foot pedal plugged in, you won't be in quilting mode, so it won't be lit up.
You have to have the needle plate covered.
Yes.
So those feed dogs that will pull right down here underneath our pressure
when you're
foot,
doing sewing.
Yeah, they need to be covered up when we're quilting, because otherwise the fabric would just keep going back and back, and you'd have a terrible quilt. So
yes.
we want to make sure it gets covered up. So the needle plate cover goes over that, and so that's when once it's engaged, then that key will pop up, so you can do that.
Do you know what I really love about this machine is you look at it and it doesn't look scary. It's a nice big machine, but it's something that your granddaughter could look at and learn to use really fast. It's not something technical that she won't be able to figure out, or you won't be able to figure out. Let's be honest. There are some of us that use our children as help, right?
Tech support.
Tech support, exactly. But this machine is so easy to use and yet so versatile at the same time.
Yeah, so let's start sewing just a little bit.
Right.
We'll see this here. So I'm going to get my foot pedal going. And did you see how fast that was?
That was so fast.
That was only halfway. Let's increase that speed. And I'm just gonna come a little bit farther down, and so we can go to that section. And there is a little tiny, right here on the side, you can't see, but there's a little seam or a
thread cutter
so that you can take care of it. Okay, so I am gonna just
watch how fast.
I've got it all the way down.
Oh my. Look at that.
Oh my goodness, it's too fast for me, almost. So we've got this great piece now. I've sewn all the way through, and I can get it started. So we're making a little pillow out of it. So easy and versatile for what you're sewing, right?
Absolutely.
A straight stitch, so you can quilt. You can just do regular seam, your piecings, everything like that.
Yeah.
If you have any questions at any time while we're presenting this, please put them in the comments. We'll catch them, if you're saying all these different things. One other thing about this is I love how light it is. We've talked about how moving it's only 26 pounds, so it's got this great handle here. So you can hold it with one hand and lift with the other and put it on your quilting machine. So,
yeah, and we did talk about this extension table a little bit, but let's just talk about it a little more. Did you see how nice it was that Jana has this big area that she can do her piecework with? And if you're doing a push quilt as well, you have all of this area for your fabric to lay on. I mean, it's not like you're wrestling around with it. You've got tons of area.
It's so nice, and it's this lovely kind of slidey plastic, so as I'm moving this around, I don't get stuck on anything.
And it's
or
got the
loopy.
measurements all the way across it in the front, keep you nice and accurate when you're doing your.
And to access your bobbin, so the bobbin case is an M-class bobbin size, and when you're accessing it, it has a light in it, and we have a picture of that so you can see, because we've got this kind of angled differently. So see right there, it's got that light. You can easily clean out the lint and grab and pull it, but the table lifts up so you can easily grab that as you're going along. So you're not having to try and reach underneath and make it available for yourself to try and get in there. So
I love that it has the light.
Yes.
I mean, the machines that have the light in the bobbin area, they're magical, just because I can't see without my glasses these days. And I definitely can't see without light and my glasses. So the light, I don't have to pull out my phone to use the flashlight to stick that bobbin in. It's already lit up, ready to go, as well as like the throat lights. I mean, we've got lights here, we've got lights under the needle. I mean, there are so many lights.
It makes even the lights in this area, the studio, we've got them pretty bright, but still, just right here, having this light right here is so helpful.
Really is. It really is. Especially those of us that are just beginning to lose our sight with age, right?
Exactly. So many things. The other thing that the Little Rebel has is a bobbin winder. It's just right here up at the top. It's a separate motor than the machine, so you don't have to. You can technically run your bobbin winder while you're sewing. And you can see right there is that pad printing, right? The 1 and 2 goes to the front of the machine for sewing, and then A and B is for the bobbin. Now we did that on purpose so that 1 and 2 is one section and A and B is the other. And you can see how easy that is. A and B is the thread, then you come over to C to that tension knob, and D is the bobbin. It's got that start button right there that looks like a little triangle in a circle, that play button, and then go to the pause on the other button. So if it starts to be wonky or the thread starts wrapping around the post instead of the bobbin, you can pause it and pull it off and fix it.
Exactly.
Also, it has that screw on the top. You can see how it has ability to move to the side, to the right. There's still space for that. When you unscrew that, you can slide it over so that you can have ability to do different bobbins, not just the M class. You can also do the L class or 15, so it can wind other bobbins, not
for your
just
other machines.
Yeah, not just for this machine.
Now, M class bobbin, that is so nice to have in a sewing machine, correct?
So big.
It's nice and big. You'll not run out of bobbin half or quarter way through your project. It'll take you a little bit longer. It's so nice to have it big like that.
And I love that everything about the Little Rebel, it's simple, but it's like expanded, right? So it's not an advanced sewing. I just got my mother an not embroidery, but a sewing machine that has a lot of embroidered stitches and different things. I got it for Mother's Day, and she's still saying like, oh, I'm not quite sure how to use it. And I'm like, I should have gotten the Little Rebel instead, because she would have just started sewing right away. There's just the one stitch, and so you're not having to worry about all those kinds of things.
All right, so that is the sewing capability of the Little Rebel, but that's not all it can do. Let's come over here.
We're gonna go with this one, right?
Yeah, so we've got this Little Rebel, same machine. Yes, it's the same machine. I know it blows your mind. It's the same machine, but we've got it set up for quilting on our Cutie Breeze frame.
So should we talk about the Cutie Breeze just a little bit?
Let's do that. And then, so the Cutie Breeze, there's a couple of reasons why it's called the Breeze. Number one, it is a breeze to put together.
It really is.
Very few steps to put together.
I think they said 16.
At the most.
Which you think when you're doing a frame like this, only 16 steps is so little.
Right. Absolutely.
The other part that is a breeze is it makes quilting a breeze,
It really does.
Like, I'm going to bring this needle up. We had it from when we were stitching. But just look at that. One-handed. I don't have to move it very much. I'm not having to grip it like a lot of people, because we have these nice soft grip handles on the carriage, and they've asked like, well, do you have to hold it firmly? No. As you can see, I'm just moving a couple fingers. Now, true, I'm not stitching, but when Kathy starts stitching, you're going to go, see. Oh yeah, she is using just a couple of fingers for that.
Absolutely. So our Cutie Breeze is a smaller frame. It's our smallest one in the lineup currently. It is only about 4.5 feet wide, 3 feet deep, and it can kind of fit in your little nooks and crannies of your sewing room. Or for all of you that may be heading south for the winter, yes, you can stick it in your RV. You can put it in your smaller home that you might have down in the south where it's nice and warm. It's really nice because it's so compact.
Yeah, and you're not being limited on throat space because
Right.
you're fitting the Little Rebel in here, right? So before you might have been using a domestic machine on that cutie. The Little Rebel works great. Now, you'll notice here we do have the hopping foot on here. Different than the pressure foot. We've got the plate on there so that we can do quilting mode. Now you'll say, well, the sensor's all covered up. How do you know it's working? Well,
That's what the sensor
that's
does.
what the sensor does, is it works. And you'll notice Kathy, if you just step forward just a little bit. There we go.
There we
you
go.
You can see that we're slightly angled on this carriage. The frame.
Yes.
So you're going to put the frame just a little bit lower in the front so that it can engage that encoder right here so it can read it correctly.
Absolutely. Yes. So if you are wanting to get just the cutie without the Little Rebel, that is awesome as well. I mean, a lot of you already have your domestic machines. You're not ready for getting something bigger quite yet. You know, Geraldine and Becky, they can get you great pricing on just the frame or just the machine.
There they are.
Yay, they're back. I'm so excited. So, I mean, it doesn't only come in a bundle package. It can be a separate thing as well. So if you just want to add your own machine onto this particular frame, totally doable.
Right.
Yeah.
And so what's the pricing right now, Becky, on the cutie that you guys have?
You're gonna the cutie, or do you want me to tell the good price of both?
Oh,
Well, we're going to save that one
Yeah.
for a little later, but what's just the cutie? Yeah.
I think it's either $5.99 or $5.49, something like that.
Yeah, I think $549 is
Yeah,
is
I
what
think
Kathy
it's
had told me
$549.
sooner. Yeah.
yeah.
Under 600, you get started. That's your baby step,
Exactly.
right? If you're like, well, I'm not quite sure if I'm ready for the Little Rebel, but
If you are.
if you are, what's that pricing?
Oh, this is so exciting! Wait a minute. The Little Rebel and the Breeze,
Yes.
our special price, $28.99
Woo!
for 7
Oh.
days.
For 7 days. So they've
Only
got
7 days.
7 days. So if you're wanting to get this combo, you need to call 3113. They are the gals that need to help you. The pricing is through them for 7 days.
So wait,
Yeah.
so how much are you doing if someone already had the cutie or a different frame? What price are you doing for the cutie? I mean, the Little Rebel. What price do you have on that?
Kathy can tell you that.
I believe it's
$26.99.
$26.99. $26.99.
So if you were buying it separate, $26.99
Plus-
and the $549,
It's over 3,000.
That's not a $28.99.
No.
So even if you're only getting the Rebel,
Yep.
just pay the extra $200 and get another frame.
There
and
you go.
Give it to your guild. Donate it to charity.
Give it to your daughter, your granddaughter.
Exactly.
Yeah.
This is an opportunity you cannot pass
Right.
up.
Right.
And especially as we're going into Christmas, and you might be trying to quilt things for gifts.
Yes.
Get it now so that you can have them all finished instead of. My family's favorite thing is, hey, here's the project I'm still working on for Christmas.
You'll
I'll
get
finish it
next
by March.
year. Yes, exactly. I'm sure
let's-
there's a lot of us that do
So
that,
now
right?
that you know how fantastic this is, let's sew on this machine
Okay.
to show, okay, how is that going to work and what's it going to
So
happen
how
with?
it differs from the sewing part of the Little Rebel. All right, so we are going to press our start and stop button, and you'll see I'm only moving it with one hand.
And she's making lovely loops.
I have to tell you, loops are my favorite. I love doing loops. I start with loops, I end with loops, and there's loops in between. So
I love that. I also love that you can add automation to this as
Yes.
well. So don't think, oh, I'm not getting a big machine, I'm not getting a big frame, so I can't do automation.
Yes,
Each of the
absolutely.
levels, Edge to Edge, Plus, Pro of QCT6, which is 10% off right now. You can get any of those levels and get it added. If you already have Oh, look at Debbie. I was told by a local quilt shop that I would not be happy with the Cutie Breeze. I'm so glad I did not listen to them. Absolutely love my little cutie.
Right? It's such a great frame. It's so versatile. And you would think that you don't have a lot of quilting area, but look with the Cutie Breeze and the Little Rebel, how far we can go. It's such a large quilting area that you can use.
Now you're gonna miss, right, about 2 inches of throat space because of your quilt rail back here. But as you can see, we've got the fabric inside these quilt clips. That's different with the Breeze than the original Cutie.
Absolutely.
We have this section. So all the fabric's getting rolled up here. You're not gonna lose additional throat space as you're going along, like you might in a rolling rail or something like that. So these just come here, they roll up inside of it, and so you're able to quilt. I love this shop too, because you can see from the back of the frame, we have these lovely handlebars on the back. Now, why would people care about those lovely handlebars?
If they're wanting to maybe do some pantograph work from the back, we can add a laser on and we can do some pantograph work right here from the rear. The handles are already on this carriage.
So one thing that we've got going on right now that we're gonna throw in for just $31.13 for every Cutie Breeze frame that's purchased, so that's whether it's in a bundle or by itself, we're gonna throw in a laser for free for the next 7 days.
Yes.
So you can put it on that carriage and then run it from behind. Now it's sewing in the front, but you're gonna put the laser and it's gonna trace your pantograph from the side so that you can get that. It's a really great option of different stuff. Because I use it, I mean, I can free motion, but I start at the beginning and I roll up enough of my quilt and then I think, wait, what was I doing? After unroll quick, oh yeah, I'm doing this and this and this. The pantograph sometimes gives me that option of like, oh no, I'm doing this, and then I'm doing this, and I can get that all set from that way.
And if loops aren't your favorite thing and you don't like to practice them, you can trace your pantograph loops and they'll look perfect.
And you can use anything. So you can use an actual pantograph that you've purchased, it's plastic. You can find a drawing that your kids or grandkids do. Put that in the quilts, trace it, and then they have their drawing forever.
Someone's signature or something they've written on a paper, you can trace their handwriting and put it right onto a quilt. The laser is amazing.
Yeah, things that you wouldn't even think. You think, well, it's just pantograph work. No. It's so many other things. What's your favorite thing, Becky, about the Little Rebel and the Cutie Breeze?
Well, I started out with the Cutie, with the original Cutie and the domestic. Then I bumped up to the Breeze and the Little Rebel, and it makes a world of difference. You do have that extra quilt space. You can do any size quilt. I mean, I did a quilt that was 120 inches wide on the Little Rebel and the Breeze. Yes, ma'am. You can quilt t-shirt quilts on it without any problem. I mean, it's awesome. And we did have automation on the Little Rebel up until we got our bigger frame and everything. And it works great. I've done pantographs. I've gone to different sites, printed them off. And as long as you got that laser and just don't pay attention to your top until you start advancing it. But just look at your little lines back there and follow it, and you will not have any problem. That is the best setup you can get for a beginner or somebody that doesn't have the space for a big setup. You can't go wrong with that setup.
And the amazing price that you're doing, the $28.99, that's phenomenal. But for the future, I just want to put it in people's heads, the Cutie Breeze also can fit the 16X or X Elite and the 19X and X Elite. So if you start quilting and you're starting to get to that point and you're like, okay, I know how to do this, I'm working in it, but you know what would be nice is if I didn't have to move the Little Rebel back and forth, right? I just want to keep it, I've expanded my space, my kid left home, I have a new she shed, whatever it is, and you're like, I now have space for piecing and quilting. You can get a machine just for this, and you might as well upgrade to a little bit more throat space, and then you can piece and quilt and do everything at the same time. And the automation just evolves with you. It's not like, I got a new machine and now I have to get new automation.
Well, and that tells you how sturdy this little frame is. I mean, it looks small, it looks compact, but if it can hold a 19-inch throat space machine, It is a sturdy little frame.
Yeah.
I mean, it will sew with the bigger machines. You won't have any problems with it. It's really nice. I mean, and you don't have to worry about it bending or bowing. And like Becky said, she did a 128-inch
Yes.
quilt on it.
So many
let's
different
talk
options.
about how that works with this frame. What you do is you would work in zones. So you would start with your top left corner, do that amount of space, you would quilt that area.
You're gonna come all the way over.
All the way,
and
yep.
You're quilting the whole thing, and you're kind of ending right here, right?
Right there. And then from there, we're going to shift our fabric this direction. So we'll unclip it.
And I recommend leaving your needle in if you can.
Absolutely.
So that as and keep these clips, because if you're going
Yeah.
left to right, clip these ones on. You're taking these
Unclip
ones
these
off.
ones, yep.
So then as you
You
pull
just
the fabric,
slide it.
the machine comes back and is ready for that next section to quilt in this area.
Right.
If you're shifting the other way, I would take it out so that you can line it up. But I always like to take my marking tool and mark
Yep.
right here at the end of my quilt, just so that
Gives
then I
you a
can line
straight
it up
line.
to over here with these clips. So that gives you that whole section of where you're supposed to be
Absolutely.
going. Yeah.
And I have seen some ladies and men, let me tell you, and men, that are so fast at shifting their quilts.
Oh, no, yeah.
They do it 4 or 5 times and then they are pros. They shift it and 30 seconds later, they're ready to quilt again.
Yeah.
So it just takes a little bit of practice.
And I want to show everybody, I think a tendency for these clips,
Mm-hmm.
right? You want to hold it like this. And then what does that do? That just spins it around.
Right.
So I'm going to spin this back. You want to pull it from the same section.
So right here.
So at the same time, that just allows you to pull up that clip. And I'm going to come a little bit closer so you can see what this clip looks like. Woo, the
That's
power
a
of
fancy
television.
clip right there.
Right, it's corrugated so that it fits on the square rail. So when I'm putting it on again, right, I'm going to straighten my quilt and I'm just going to press down and it goes on. I think people are always afraid if they press too hard, it's going to break.
It won't break.
It's not going to break.
Yeah.
And if I pull too hard, I'm going to snap it. Right, it's super polycarbonate plastic. It's not going to break.
Right.
And they're afraid that they'll stretch it. If that ever happens, if you stretch it out too far, put it back on, and then heat it up with
A blow dryer.
and
Yep.
it will solidify it back into where it needs to be. But
Absolutely.
you get 2 clips on the front, a clip for each side, and 3 clips for the back.
And then you notice these loops here on, let me move out of the way again. These loops here on the back clips, that is going to help keep your take-up fabric all nice and controlled out of your way so you're not sewing over extra fabric that
Exactly.
you've already done.
And the other thing I like about these clips is you notice when Kathy was pulling it, it expands. It's not gonna, you can
nice
bring it
and-
up bigger as your quilt. It gets bigger as you're going along, especially you're doing 120 inch.
Right.
There's gonna be space for it. It's gonna hold on to it the whole time. Now people have asked if I have the original cutie that had the fabric straps, can I get these? And yes, we have a clip upgrade that comes with these specifically so that you can have that option instead of the straps. Have you gotten that yet for your new cutie or your original cutie, Becky?
I kind of sold it.
Perfect.
She's just ready to go now with the new cutie. Another question we get asked a lot, and this is something definitely 3113 Quilting can help you out with. Say you have the original cutie and the handles are down here underneath, and you're looking at this beautiful top carriage that has
Like,
handles.
this is just more natural
It has
for
the
me.
handles in the front on top. It's got these rear handles we talked about for the pantographs. Can you get that carriage? Can they get
Yes.
that carriage from you, Becky?
Yes, we actually have one of them in stock.
There you go. Give them a call. They
Run
can
down
get
right now.
that carriage for you. You can upgrade your original cutie, have those handles up and over the top of your machine. Makes it a little bit easier.
Now we also have channel locks for both the original cutie and the cutie breeze. They are different for each one. So
Right.
you want to make sure when you're ordering them through Becky that you specify it's the original tabletop or the cutie breeze tabletop.
Right.
So we can make sure to get you the correct channel locks. Now what channel locks do is locks the carriage in place so that I only go straight up and down in a line. It doesn't turn at all, or it goes straight right and left and it doesn't go up and down. That's great for straight line if you're not using a ruler, or if you're just
Right.
doing one line all the way or straight down. That helps you do that. So those channel locks are really great. But again, you can order them through
Yeah.
Becky, but specify which one it is.
Well, and that points out something that I would love to talk about. This Cutie Breeze frame is actually dual wheel. And what that means is it's got 2 wheels on each side down on the track and 2 wheels on the carriage. And it makes this such a smooth ride. For those loopy like me, it makes them nice and round and flowy without any struggle. So it's nice to have a smaller frame that has the big impact, just like our
Professional
larger
kind of
frames.
stuff, yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah.
I mean, it makes it so nice and smooth and easy to move around.
The
So-
one thing I will say about those, people need to check, if it does give a little pull, check and make sure you don't have any threads caught
Yeah.
on your rails, or just clean your wheel.
Oh, we're cutting out.
She's
I think she's cleaning
Every
out the
time-
wheels.
Yeah.
And I know,
Angel.
yeah, we have that issue at shows. We'll have,
Yeah.
like, as soon as we're like cleaning everything up, we'll get some styrofoam or something.
Yeah.
A little bit of styrofoam. So when you're first setting up, make sure you don't have any styrofoam.
Yeah.
But also, that's kind of like maintenance of your
Machine and
and
frame.
frame. Oh, here
You're
you are
back.
again.
issue it shows, we'll have like this.
Okay, there we are. We're back with
We're
Becky.
back. All right.
But yeah, so cleaning, so just
Yeah.
using a microfiber cloth, just dust your rails and dust
Right.
your wheels, especially if it's sitting out. I know here in the West, it gets super dusty all the time. And, you know, you want to make sure that you're not having a performance issue just because, I know, you had to dust the quilting machine, right? Batting. When we get done with, you know, setting things up right and quilting a lot, if I'm wearing black pants,
Right.
I got batting everywhere, and that can go onto your machine. So make sure you're taking care of that as well.
Absolutely. Yeah. Just keep it maintained. It's not a lot of maintenance. That's
Not
one
a
of the
lot.
nice things about all of the Qnique machines. The maintenance is super easy.
So I also want to show this as we come out right here. This is where you're going to do. Now people will ask, oh, how do I what kind of maintenance does it take? And so opening this, you're just a drop of oil right down in there. So that one's easy. And you can see if you take your thread out, that's a lot easier to do than when, when we're running our thread. But yeah, I'm gonna pop that open.
Okay.
See how easy that comes open? It snaps in, pop it open, opens up, easily done. Now, you can see if there's any lint or maintenance stuff in there, but you would do just a tiny drop, one little drop here
Yeah.
at the base of that needle bar. So you're not having to do a lot of oiling. You don't have to oil anything else inside there. You're gonna close it up, and then there's my link. And then you're also gonna do for that bobbin casing, there's a bobbin hook. You'll take out the bobbin case, turn it until you see that hook come up, put a little drop. And then once you've done the drop there, both of them, you're just gonna turn your knob so that it goes through the whole system.
Right.
And that's
Good.
really,
That's it.
other than pulling the lint out, it's designed so you don't have to bring it in and do maintenance yearly. There's
Right.
a lot of machines where you have to bring it in and they have to do that.
We don't have to do that on our machines, which
Yeah.
is great.
Which is really helpful so that you can keep quilting.
Exactly. So one thing I did notice as you were showing the front of the machine is on this new carriage, we have this new tray here. It's a good
yes.
place to stick your scissors, your snips, your extra bobbins.
Yeah, it's got these holes right here where you can stick them
Yep,
through
right
there.
in here, your extra bobbins,
Seam
everything.
ripper,
Whatever
never need
you
that
are
one.
grabbing really fast, correct?
Yeah.
And multiple pairs of snips because you need some on the left, you need some on the right, you need some below, you need some, always you need to have more than one around.
And then the bobbin section here, it'll pull out. So depending on what size of bobbins you're using on your
Right.
carriage, right? We've got this one. It has another one. So whether it's M class or 15 or L, you can stick your bobbins in there and just be ready to go.
Exactly.
And you can see it just fits right down in there.
Right, and then also right here, we've got our controls. We didn't talk about this because we didn't use them with the sewing part of the Little Rebel, but with the quilting part, you have all of the buttons that you need. You have your needle up, needle down button right here, and then you have your start and stop button here. So it's all right there at your fingertips, ready to go. You don't have to reach around the machine to start, stop. You don't have a foot pedal when you're quilting.
That would be
it's all right.
so annoying,
it's like,
right?
Exactly. So it's like you have a stitch regulator on your original Cutie and your domestic machine. It does that for you since it has the stitch regulation built in.
Now this comes with the Little Rebel only. It's
Yes.
not part of the Cutie.
Right.
So if you do have a domestic machine, you would have to use your foot pedal or get the Sure Stitch Elite or some other speed control to try and have that taken
But
care of.
I do know that they do have those at 3113. Lots of Sure Stitch Elites, you know, if you want
So
to add
whatever
something to
option
your,
you do,
you want to add
But,
to what you're doing.
Again, the Sure Stitch Elite plus your Cutie, by the time you buy both of those together, you could probably get just the Little Rebel and the Cutie for the amazing
with
price.
the price that they are offering. I mean, this is a price no one else has right now. It's only being offered at 3113 by giving them a call, sending them an email. Right down here, you can see it. Financing is available. They were all excited that is something new that they're offering.
For them. I'm so excited.
Yes. So if you're, ready to get going but don't quite have enough money at the moment, ask about financing. They can help you out with that.
It's true. Now we have some giveaways that we kind
do.
of saved to the end because we
Yes.
wanted everybody to focus on these. We didn't want you to think about giveaways. The first giveaway what we're doing is which one?
It's going
again?
to be luminous light bar, 10-foot luminous light bar.
When you talk about light, this one it's LED, 6,500 wattage hours. It's so fantastic. No
really
matter
is.
what kind of light you already have in your room, I love this because it doesn't add extra heat. We talked about being cold. They started testing the heaters today, and I'm like, oh, the heaters already. But with the luminous light bar, you won't have any extra heat.
So how people are winning these is they pre-registered online for the event. So they went into 3113, pre-registered for the event, and we randomly chose the winner for this light bar.
It's a random generator. It's so funny because we do it and it pops up and we're like, okay, that person.
Yeah.
Like we're not picking it
Yeah,
up.
we don't know until it pops up. So let's see who pre-registered and won that luminous light bar.
Okay, so drum roll.
Jennifer Peppers.
Congratulations.
So we will reach out to you, or you can email our Allegra at graceframe.com. She handles all of our giveaways, but she'll be reaching out to you because we have your information. Congratulations on that light bar win.
That's so fantastic, Jennifer.
Yes.
We had another question come through. I just wanted to talk about but before we do that, I wanted to say for the light bar, if you aren't Jennifer and you don't get one, you can still order from Becky at 3113. So
absolutely.
That 10-foot can be a 5-foot, 8-foot, or 10-foot. So, it's not limited. But the question from Sarah in Germany, she says, does the stitch regulator work with unicolored fabric or does it need busy? It can work with any color. The color isn't what it goes off of. It's whether there's fabric on there. So you want to make sure that it's flat on there. That's why we did the angle on the fabric. Same thing when you're pushing it. You want to make sure that you don't, I'll show you a little, if you're doing a loop like this, if I'm holding onto it and pressing like that, this section in the middle is too high. We don't want to.
Can't read through too much
can't
fabric.
read through.
Yeah.
The other thing that it can't read is something that's not flat, like minky. So it can't, if you were quilting this and it had a minky back, you want to put minky on the top and put the quilting fabric on the bottom, and then it would have not a problem there. But
exactly. That's a great question, though.
yeah, excellent question. If there's any others, pop them in. Becky's got a question.
Now, not a question. But don't think you cannot quilt minky or flannel or anything like that. Turn your cue off and do it manually. And it works.
That's true. Yeah. You become the quilt regulator or the stitch regulation. instead of that. So it's just going and you just
Right.
move at the speed that you need it to be. Yeah, it's true.
Yeah.
And it works well. We've had with a variety of fabrics,
Yeah.
not just the strong fabrics we talked about at the beginning. We have an educator who did a very lovely costume for her granddaughter out of tricot, right? Like
Yep.
that's a really thin fabric and it worked just fine. We've made minky quilts, all
Yep.
those different things. So yeah, don't think that it's limited just because it can go powerful.
Right.
You can also do those other ones as well.
Exactly. All right.
So we've got another giveaway.
We do have another giveaway, the True Cut Travel Kit. Now this is fantastic. If you're on the go, you're going to a guild, you're traveling in your RV, and you want to take your project with you. It comes with a small cutting mat, a cutter.
Shoulder strap.
Yeah, you just can carry it all with you. Take it with you.
My favorite thing about it is it comes with a pattern for a pin cushion. So there's a quilt block. It's a pin cushion postage stamp,
Yeah.
and it was so adorable. Anyway, so you get that pattern as
Right.
well. It's really fun.
Yes, so if you also are not our winner, but you want one of these, which you do, let me tell you, you can reach out to Becky and she can get you one.
They're so stylish.
I know, it's the cutest bag.
It
That's
really
the thing.
is.
It's a cute bag, not just a functional bag.
Yeah. Okay, so again,
Random.
the winner was chosen randomly from those who pre-registered for the event. So let's do a
Boom,
drum
boom, boom,
roll.
boom, boom. Sheila Bianco, you are our winner.
Sheila, we will get that out to you again. We will email you, or if you want to email allegra@graceframe.com. But for anybody that didn't get one, that's not Sheila, you can still order from Becky and she'll be
Yes.
able to get that out to you. So
Yeah.
So did we have any other questions that came in? Any questions that you get often, Becky, that we wanted to cover before we ended for the day?
We get lots of questions, but I can't think of one that we haven't covered. To be honest with you, I think we've done a very good job of covering the information.
Oh, good.
But when we were down earlier, though, you did explain the little magnetic plate that goes over the feed dogs.
Yes.
And stuff. Okay, to turn it to a quilter.
Yeah,
Yes.
because otherwise those feed dogs will keep grabbing your quilt as you're going along, and it won't engage the stitch regulation, that Q stitch. But if there are any questions and you're thinking later and you think, oh, I don't remember them saying this, contact 3113.
Yes.
Right?
There's the
Write down
email,
their
phone
information,
number.
Go into the shop, see them, go into the shop and play with these.
Yes.
Right? You get the chance to play around, see what, oh, Kathy and Jana made it look so easy. It is that easy, but you can go and see for yourself.
Yes.
To see how great it is.
I wanted to say one thing about the ease of the use of it. We do have one set up, and my granddaughters love it. They're 6 years old and 11, and they can maneuver, and they've tried it, and they love it. So,
I love that.
Me too.
granddaughter,
And it's coming to Christmas time. I mean, a nice Christmas present.
But if this is something that you or loved one really, you're like, this is the passion that we want to foster, or you're buying it as a group together, right? Like as a family present or something like that, or even your guild, if you're saying, hey, that would just help us finish so many quilts, or if you're a charity or something like that. Contact 3113. Again, that special offer, $28.99.
For all of this. For 1 week only. One week only. So make sure you give them
laser.
with the free laser.
That's right. That's right.
Absolutely. Yes. So contact them, get your order in, ask any questions you might have. They will have the answers for you.
Yeah, we've got the setup with the light bar just as you walk in our front door. We've had so many people walk over and like, ooh, can we play? And yeah, I'll just show them how to hit that start button, and they have a ball.
Perfect.
It's
That's
so
awesome.
good. I love that people want to play with it, right? Because it's like anything else. If I touch it, then I realize how fantastic it is, and then I want to take it home with me.
It is true. It is true.
Well, thank you everyone for joining us today. If there's no more questions, we want to say go to the shop.
Yep.
Take advantage of the deal. Don't wait for the 7th day to contact 3113 and finally get that ahead of time. the faster you order it, the faster you'll get it, and then you
Yes.
can keep quilting and getting all those quilts taken care of for the holidays or for whatever event you're doing.
Exactly, and you can get all those UFOs that you have sitting in a box, all finished before Christmas.
One more advantage though, come by the shop and we can show you how to use it. We can give
And that-
you good
yeah.
directions. We've used it enough that we can teach you how to use it. I've had customers come in and say, I can't, something's not right. Matter of fact, she's here in the shop today, but something's not right. So we went to mine and we started fooling with it and we figured out, oh, that's what it is. It's simply long stitches, so the laser was not picking up the fabric.
Oh,
yeah.
Well, and you know, go into the shop if you already have it too.
Yeah.
Take pictures of what the tension looks like. You know, you might be surprised. You'll think I have it all, you know,
Perfect.
hooked in here, and all it takes is, oh, I didn't hook it on this bottom section, or I didn't floss those discs the right way, or I put it in the bottom one first before the top. There's
Yeah.
just so many things that you can do that you think, oh, I've done it correctly, but going into the
one little
shop
thing.
and you'll
Yeah.
realize, oh, that's the issue.
Yep, exactly.
Well, thank you, Geraldine, Becky, everybody at 3113, and everybody watching with us.
Thank
we
you
really
so
appreciate
much.
it. Give them a call. You're not going to be disappointed, but we'll see you next time.
Have a great day. Bye.
Hi, y'all.
Thank you.